Hi guys, likability. Likability is perhaps one of the most underrated, underestimated and least spoken about principles of persuasion. This is perhaps because everybody believes they're likeable. Yet we've all seen those who have magnetic personalities, or are often referred to as a people person. You can absolutely bet they're having a greater impact and influence over the lives of others compared to those who don't have these traits. Essentially, people prefer to say yes to people they like. There is a saying that all things being equal, people like to do business with those they know, like and trust. Whilst I am in agreement with this, it's not 100% correct. Because people still do business with others when things aren't equal. And perhaps their product is more expensive or not quite as reliable as its competitors. Likeability therefore plays an overriding decision when it comes to considering those other factors. One of the main focuses for being likeable is that of authenticity. If you genuinely want to help your prospect overcome the problems surrounding the issue that they're having with your product or your service, and you can demonstrate that you care, are reliable, are capable and trustworthy in an authentic way, then this will foster a mutual relationship of likability. One of the most powerful applications to create likability is the likability formula. This allows you to convey to the customer that you have heard them and you can empathise with them. One of the strongest ways to communicate this is to tell them about someone else who felt the same way as they did initially. The verbs you would use in this formula and its application is like this: feel plus felt plus found equals empathy. Empathy creates greater influence. This same formula can also be used for handling resistance in a sales situation and is equally interchangeable with building rapport or creating likability. If you were to place this into a sentence as an example, it could be applied like this. 1. I know how you feel. 2. I felt the same way when. 3. What I felt was. In one of my influence and sales training sessions I delivered in America recently, this was one of the replies that we created, or curated I suppose, in response to an issue one of the delegates was having. I know how you feel. Thanks for being so honest about the struggles you are having with your team. If I were in your shoes, I'd probably feel the exact same way. I was speaking with another client the other week that, funnily enough, was in a very similar to the position you're in. We realised that their team was not being empowered enough and certain members of their team were keen to develop into managerial roles. They had low employee satisfaction and high staff turnover. After some discussion, we identified the type of people that were leaving and their reasons for leaving, and identified the team members who had the ambition to gain more authority. We created some personal development plans, restructured some of the days for training, and then looked at the rotas to identify when they could gain hands-on team leader responsibility. We then set up timelines and looked at opportunities around the business for them to work towards. Their feedback since then is that their branch has become a flagship for the other stores in terms of people development. They've coached several team members into full-time leader roles. They've lowered their turnover, their staff turnover, increased staff retention and increased sales. If I could show you how this solution could be applied in your team and could save you far more than the cost of recruiting new staff and increasing your sales, would budget still be an issue? In this example, we applied the feel, felt, found formula. By cross-referencing the sentences, the first statement allows us to communicate similarity and empathy, whilst the second delivers a compliment. When we communicate what we felt, This also communicates another degree of similarity. The final sentence communicates a shared goal and is a perfect example of objection handling before any objection is presented. To emphasize the importance of likability, we turn to Joe Girard, an American Chevrolet car salesman who sold 13,001 cars between 1963 and 1978 and has been featured in the Guinness Book of Records as the seller of the most cars in a single year, 1,425 in 1973. Girard attributed these three things to his success. First, he sold more than just the car. If any of his customers returned for a service, he would prioritise them and have 3 or 4 mechanics work on their car and even pay for some of the parts. In return, he simply asked them to come back. Secondly, and perhaps the most famously, he sent each one of his customers a personalised card every month. He commissioned an artist to create a new design every month, and inside he simply handwrote, "I like you." This also triggered the principle of reciprocity, which we'll come to in another video. Similarly, he used this principle of reciprocity to take his employees out to dinner once a month. Without him requesting, they would work harder, which would result in repeat customers coming back. Girard's third and final approach to influence was that he was a regular guy. He didn't dress with any expensive taste, which made him much more relatable. People generally want to work for or alongside people who are similar. This final approach activates the consensus principle of persuasion. In 2017, another Chevrolet salesman, Ali Rader, eclipsed Joe Girard's record for selling the highest number of cars in a year. And the secrets to his success are no different. His long-term friend and coach said this: "The business of your business is people. The key to massive success is to build and maintain meaningful, personal, lifelong relationships. Do that, and you'll be profitable and proud." Damien Boudreau said this. In his own words, Ali Rader said, "It's not about me. One of the fundamental keys to likability is putting the other person first and being as interested in them as they are about you." If we remember these words and apply them in our own business, company, brand, team, or relationships, then we've understood the power of likability. Thanks, guys. See you again sometime.